On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Listen, let me tell you guys something about Pookies, and I'm representing them. Right? Not only in family law court, but also in criminal court. Pookies are gonna be Pookies. All right. Don't talk to me, Anton, about I lead the house and I lead to that. You are not talking about the Pookies aren't hearing anything you're saying. They're not changing, and they're gonna be themselves. DMX is gonna be himself. DMX is for the streets. And he was probably for the streets when he was 8 years old. So, you telling me he knocked some woman up when the woman's 22 and they've been together forever. She knew he was a Pookie when she laid down with him. And when he died, he was the same Pookie. Now, who am I blaming? Pookie or her? I'm blaming her 100% because he was the same way when they started. If DMX was such a bad guy, if DMX was so promiscuous, if DMX was all in these streets, if DMX was using drugs, and the woman decided to stay, I don't want to talk bad about this man because he's not here, but sometimes you can make your own bed. And when you make your own bed, then sometimes you have to lie in it.
That's the end of the conversation.
Please bring.
Wait.
Can I?
Hold on. I think that time. Go ahead.
So
Courtney.
you telling me that her loyalty to him is her fault when it came to her getting the bad end of the stick when he unexpectedly died, her holding him down, when the conversation that we have largely across the internet and the manosphere that people put us in these boxes of is women not holding us down. And then you find a woman that actually holds you down in your inability to exercise dick discipline, your inability to be the man that you're supposed to be, your inability to take care of the kids and be promiscuous. That largely lies and falls into the woman's lap because of your inability to be the man that you're supposed to be, even ensuring when you pass away that these very same people that you're supposed to be responsible for as a man. And this is one of the reasons and the issues that I have with a lot of these guys out here is because they largely get a pass and it all falls back on the woman. And as a person that hold both men and women accountable, they largely get a pass because we are stronger. We do have a dick. We do have the responsibility to provide and protect for the people that we are supposed to. And, we are supposed to take care of our kids. We supposed to take care of the women that's on top of our kids. And he just get a pass, and that's just the end of the conversation. And it largely just falls on the woman for continuing to rock with the dude that we advocate for these women to go back to their baby fathers, go back and do this stuff. Every man in the manosphere is always saying, yo, stick with your baby father, roll with him, hold them down, all of that. It's a lot of these guys in this chat all the time that's talking about ain't no good women in here. They ain't gonna hold them down like Anton woman hold them down. And that's just the end of the conversation. That's the end of the dialogue.
I think that absolutely it falls on her. I want women to be accountable. And if you know that you are if you know that you are not married to a Pookie and you see this Pookie sleeping with all types of women, bringing all types of diseases, all types of animals on his penis home to you, and you decide to stay, that is on you. There are many men in this world. No one forced you to stay with the Pookie. So many women's lives are destroyed because they hung with Pookies. So many women are in prison because of what their Pookies did. And these are 30-year-old women, 35-year-old women, 40-year-old women, sometimes with kids. Now they can't see their kids. Why? Because they're in prison. Why? Because they were in the car with Pookie when Pookie tried to rob somebody. Absolutely. A woman should not hold down a Pookie. A woman should have integrity and value herself in her own life, especially if she's not married to him. Women can make a choice. Women have a brain. And if a woman chooses to live a lifestyle, then she's going to reap the benefits and the losses of that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And then ironically, right after that, it's funny because, I got to be objective on both sides, because if she leaves, then she for the streets. If she stays, then she got a brain and she should have left. It's a no-win situation for a woman that finds herself between a rock and a hard place with men that largely do not take the responsibility that comes along with exercising the dick that they have. And nobody knew, right? Nobody knew. And this is the dilemma that I have, that I feel like women are suffering in, right? Because Who knew that this dude was gonna turn into a Pookie? Real talk. Yeah, of course there's a level of responsibility that comes along with
DMX?
that. There's a level of responsibility that comes along with
You think
everybody as an
DMX was wearing a
individual.
tie one day and then on Monday he's like, oh, I'm gonna be DMX? No, he was a Pookie since he was
The
born.
What do you
bar.
mean? That she hold on, she had his baby. She had his baby, and so now, so you telling me that after she had his baby, she just supposed to dip?
She
Come
knew
on,
he
man.
was. She
You
knew
know
he
what's
was a
so funny?
Pookie.
But you know what
he was a Pookie. She knew
you
he
know
was a
what the
Pookie when she
unfortunate
laid
part of this,
down.
you know what the unfortunate part of this situation always lead is
What's the
because
unfortunate
not
part?
once have I ever in any part of this conversation have you laid any of the onus at the feet of DMX. It's all the woman.
The woman.
You laid no onus, not one time at any part of this conversation, and holding DMX accountable for being the man that he was supposed to be. Yet he
No,
was able to.
wait a
Yet he was
minute.
able to. Kay, I'm not even talking to you.
I know, but
You
I'm
didn't hold DMX accountable
there's
one time, and that's the problem
hypocrisy.
because all of these dudes will watch this platform and they'll watch this show and they think that they can do anything that they want to do, and they don't understand the responsibility that come along with slinging your dick around. And then we gonna blame women and we gonna say they for the streets and we gonna do all of this and all of that. But I have to be the man that I would want my daughter to marry first. It starts with me. I'm the head. We want to cite all of this stuff, man. God over man, man over woman, woman over child. But where the man gonna do what he's supposed to do? First. It's my responsibility first. It starts with me, and everybody else that's under me follow me. When it comes to leadership in any organization, in any executive branch, at any job, at any business, any entrepreneurial, like it all starts with the head. We hold and we bear all the responsibility. It's the CEO's fault first. Nobody goes to the workers and say, "Oh, the workers ain't doing what they're supposed to do." They go to the CEO and they say, "Hey, why didn't you get your troops in order? Why your household ain't in order? Why your junk is all messed up? Why is you messing up?" And now all of these families have to suffer as a responsibility or as a result of it. But this is the only situation that we ever can cite in history, in any circumstance, is in relationships where we then start to lay the responsibility at everyone else's feet, except for where we are as leadership. And that's largely the main problem when it comes to the Black community, our communities as a whole, because it first starts in the household and then it blossoms and blooms into everything else. I'm not going for it. I'm never going for it.
And let me say something too, because I think it was kind of taken out of extreme. Is it a waste of my time that I don't get, if I'm with someone for 14 years, they pass, and I use DMX as an example? Yes, it is. Marriage is important, but it's not just as it's a covenant between two people becoming one, but there's benefits of the marriage. I'm investing my entire life to a man. The man is investing his life in me. It's a business. So yes, you want to make sure that your business has some positive outcomes to it. That is financially, that is raising kids in a 2-parent household, that is, owning property. There's a whole lot of stuff that becomes of marriage. Me not marrying someone that I have been for years, in essence, I can't give my life to that. I can't 100% say I'm all yours when you were not even willing to commit to me on that bigger level. Marriage is important. And especially when you talk to women that want to be married, a majority of us do. And a lot of times we stay in these relationships because we feel like that we can change you, or we can be that woman to say, yeah, well, I didn't think I would marry, but you're the special one. We stay in that. Women are delusional when it comes to that at times. But marriage is important. And it's a Pookie and Ray Ray that's going to allow himself to be with a woman for years and not marry her.
That's what Pookies do.
It's wasting her
That is
time.
exactly what Pookies do.
Right.
But
That's what I'm
listen,
saying. That's a waste of my time with being with a Pookie.
But whose
And
fault is that? Who forced you to be with Pookie? Pookie ain't changing.
Well, let me say something to you, Lead, as well, because I found it interesting when I said that, and you was like, that man 14 years bend over backwards would kill for you and all this. But you didn't say once anything about me as a woman and what I'm willing to do for him as well. It was all
you were the
him,
woman, you were the person that said it's a waste of time. The man never said it was a waste of time. So why would I focus on you? You're the one that's complaining.
Hold on, Court. Let him cook.
Yeah.
No,
but the problem though, Lead, is that you speaking with a forked tongue because then you also will debate with me about the fact that I say wait until marriage before you have sex.
How is
You
that
can't have it
related at
both
all?
ways. You can't have it both ways. You can't illustrate and utilize
What's
Pookie
the
and Ray Ray
connection?
tactics. You can't utilize Pookie and Ray Ray tactics, which is the same thing as that's illustrated is having these kids, having sex out of wedlock, and destroying these communities and not building strong families. But then at the same time, you advocate that people need to be responsible. But then you say on the flip side that it shouldn't matter whether or not you get married or not before you have sex.
I think the chat is seeing something that you two aren't seeing, and I don't know
Oh, I
whether
don't
it's.
care about what I ain't
I
looking at
don't
the
care
chat.
about that
I'm
chat.
just trying to figure out if you think. Listen, let me tell you guys something about Pookies, and I'm representing them. Right, not only in family law court, but also in criminal court. Pookies are gonna be Pookies. All right. Don't talk to me, Anton, about I lead the house and I lead the that. You are not talking about the Pookies aren't hearing anything you're saying. They're not changing, and they're gonna be themselves. DMX is gonna be himself. DMX is for the streets. And he was probably for the streets when he was 8 years old. So, you telling me he knocked some woman up when the woman's 22 and they've been together forever. She knew he was a Pookie when she laid down with him. And when he died, he was the same Pookie. Now, who am I blaming? Pookie or her? I'm blaming her 100% because he was the same way when they started.